Hi everyone, my name is James Frampton. This video here is going to be called Charger Restoration. It's a Charger Restoration project. This is a 1968 Dodge Charger. This is my current project car. I'm going to have probably maybe 5 parts to this series on the Dodge Charger. This one's going to be an introduction video, if you want to call it that, to the Dodge Charger, the second generation of Chargers. The first generation was the 66 and the 67. Of course, the second generation is the 68, 69, and 70. This particular Charger is the one that I really like on the old Mopar muscle cars, and so I've been waiting probably a good 3 months to put this together, and so I've just finally gotten the time to really get involved in this, and I want to make sure that all of my videos on this car is very informative for people that do not know about the second generation of Chargers. And so during my process of restoring this car, I'm going to be making videos. Unfortunately, I've already put the floor pans in prior to ever doing any videos on YouTube. But now you'll be able to see me install the trunk pans, the quarter panels, and so on. But before I get started and show you a little around the car, obviously this car has no engine or no transmission. The car came with a 383. I wrote down a couple of little notes from extrememopars.com on the 68 Dodge Charger Facts website, and so they were 96,000 of these Chargers sold in 1968. They came with the 225. It's just sort of hard to believe that a slant 6 going into this Charger. It's just sort of, even though I love the slant 6, was a really dependable, reliable engine, it's just sort of hard to believe a Dodge Charger having a slant 6 in it. But it came with that. 318, the 383, 440, and the 426. Now, they were two styles. They were the standard Dodge Charger, which this one is, and you had the RT, the Road and Track Charger. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the RT only came with a 440 and a 426. This car came with the 383 2-barrel. And so it's a little bit of information I want you to know before I start showing you the car, showing you what I've done, showing you where I'm at in the project. And so as I'm walking around the car and showing you what I've done, I'll give you a little bit more information on where I'm at in the project and where I plan on going next. So stick with me. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, guys. I have this is the tail panel of the 68 Charger right here. This tail panel here, in order to remove it, I had to remove the spot welds along this area here, and you can see it in the back in this metal here, around in here, and you can also see it in this around here. It was a job removing this tail panel, but as you can see, the majority of this panel, even in this area here which I've removed, was just Bondo. This is all Bondo, body filler, just body filler, and it was all in here. And so it looks a little rough now. It was outside. I never throw away anything that I take off the car, even wasted floor pans I've kept. And that way I can later on, when I do get the new pans or whatever it may be, I can somewhat try to make sure that they look like the new panel, and at least come close to what the old panel looked like. This particular panel, this tail panel here, was an absolutely right on panel. I mean, it looks a duplicate of that, but in fact it's made a lot better than the old panel. This, in fact, where the tail lights are in, you can remove this. These had to be removed. I've got the old ones that I removed and kept, but here's the new ones that came with this panel here. Make sure I don't damage it in any way. I've had this inside of the car. I've kept this inside of the car, but when you're taking off pieces, no matter what it is, and you know that you're not going to use it, you still want to keep it, and that way you can get a general idea about at least that the new panel comes close to what the old one looks like. All right, I'm back. By the way, that tail panel, I got it from Auto Metal Direct. I believe they're in Flowery Branch, but I got that maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And when I got there, I remember getting there early in the morning, really early in the morning. And the guy shows up. I got it up there before they showed up. Guy pulls up and went in the facility, and for some reason, if I'm not mistaken, I brought a credit card. The machine was down, or either the lady that worked there wasn't in there. He didn't know how to do it. But I'll never forget this. He tells me, he says, "Listen," he said, after talking with me, he said, "Listen, go ahead and take it home with you." He said about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, he says, "Give us a call back and just give her your credit card number." And you know, I thought that was really nice of him. He didn't get my name or anything, but that's what he told. That's the dealings that I had with Auto Metal Direct, and I just never have forgot that. And that he was very helpful. In fact, he walked me around in the back there, and they had a lot of quarter panels and tail panels, just all sorts of just about anything you needed for that charger. But I remember that, and those are the kind of people I like doing business with. You know, he trusted me enough to just take the panel, and you know, I live maybe 150 miles from there. He didn't know who I was, but I told him I'd write down my information. You know, I gave him my name, and but that's how it happened. I went home, and about 9 or 10 o'clock I called, and I made sure that you know, I paid for the piece, and I told her, the lady that I was talking to tell him that I really appreciated that. But they are good people to if you're needing pieces, or if you're doing a car restoration. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they now sell for all makes and models of cars. So Auto Metal Direct is a company that you really might want to check out, because they're really a great group of people over there. Okay, this panel here, this piece here, and I cannot remember what you call this piece. It fits in the back to the tail panel, and it fits, not to the tail panel, I'm sorry, below that, and it sits about in this area here, and this lays flat onto the trunk pan. I wanted to show you that. Here is the original piece that came off of it. And I made sure, like I said, I keep all my pieces. And as you can see, I believe I bought this later on from Auto Metal Direct also. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I bought this from Auto Metal Direct. But this, you know, I mean, in fact, it's just made it's a lot thicker metal. This one was just so wasted that, as you can see, the water damage had got there and just rusted it. And, but, you know, always make sure you keep the pieces. I don't care what they look like. Make sure you keep them and compare them to your new parts when you get them. That's another example. And in fact, they even detailed it right down to the hole here. I don't know why that hole's there. It may be a line, some kind of line ran through that. I'll have to look back at my pictures. I made sure that I took pictures of everything. And I was telling you guys that before you start dismantling and taking a car apart, you want to take pictures of everything. I mean, take it from top to bottom. Take you 300 pictures, 400 pictures. You want to make sure, just like this. This is a good example. Why is that hole there? If I'm not mistaken, it seems like there was a line or something that fit in there. But I can look back at those pictures, look back at my notes, and know exactly for a fact why that's there. But this is another example of why you keep your old pieces. This right here is a little extension that fits on the end back here. This, I cannot show you the piece that came off this car because it was gone. I probably had maybe a size of a quarter of this piece, of the original piece that went on this Charger here. So some pieces you're just not going to be able to salvage it. You're not going to be able to keep it. And that's an example of that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the camera, the video camera off the tripod. I'm going to walk you around the car and show you what I've got done so far, and show you what I'm working on, and show you what's going to be the next step in restoring this 1968 Dodge Charger. My name is James Frampton, and I will be back in just a moment. Alright guys, this is the rear of the car. The frame rails were solid. They were real solid in this car. Luckily, with all the damage that the floor pans had, the frame rails were still solid. There is a little pitting in certain areas, but the integrity is still intact. They're still solid, and so luckily I didn't have to replace any of that. And as you can see around here, there's where I've removed the spot welds. Here, and on this side here, that's what these little holes are here. Same goes right here. Spot welds that I had to drill out in order to remove the panel. You got to remember, these cars, when they were put together, they were never made to be taken apart. Never made to be taken apart. But luckily, people that are professionals that restore these cars, they know the right way to take them apart without doing any more damage to it than it may already have. And so you want to follow these people and see what the best way to remove these panels are. And obviously these are unibody cars. It's not a frame where you can just remove the body off the frame. So each piece, each part makes up the total integrity of this car. And you can see this was the only damage that you can tell was maybe somebody backed up into him, maybe he backed up into someone. And you can see the body filler here, or Bondo, mostly people refer to body fillers as Bondo. Actually, Bondo is a brand all of its own. But a lot of people refer to any kind of body filler as just Bondo. But as you can see, it goes all up in here, and that didn't matter. I'm going to be replacing this whole piece back in here anyway. But that's some of the damage that the car had. It wasn't a lot of damage. There was more rust that created damage to this car, but luckily that was about the only place on the whole car that you can tell someone had that he had a accident in. Maybe he backed up into something, or someone backed up into him. But he filled that. Instead of doing the metal work completely, whoever did that just crammed that body filler on there. Instead of doing it the right way and fixing this metal and getting your hammer and dolly and working this metal out, he just crammed body filler in it. I don't like that. I don't do that. That ain't the way that I do stuff. Body filler is only meant to sort of skim over it, to get little tiny imperfections out. It's not meant to get that kind of damage, to be put on that kind of damage. Here's behind that, in fact. I don't know if you can see that, but there's behind there. Okay, here's some undercoating right there. That was factory undercoating. The lip here of the trunk, where the trunk lid sits, this was all fine. A little pitting here and there, but that's fine. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for the first tape. I'm going to have several in this series. I'm going to walk you. You're going to come with me as I'm doing every part and piece that I restore on this charger. You're going to come along with me. And if you're interested in auto restoration, this will be a perfect tape to watch. So be sure to subscribe to this channel. I want to make each one of these tapes, as I'm restoring this car, I want to make each tape that I make, each video that I put out there, I want it to be informative for people to be able to learn from it, and to make sure that I describe each piece and each piece of work that I'm doing. I want to make sure that that you know what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that it's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun restoring this car. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's also going to be a lot of fun doing it. And so if you're interested, be sure to subscribe, or go to extrememopars.com, sign up, become a member there. And if you have a car that you're restoring, or you've had a car that you've already restored, be sure to sign up, become a member, and give us some pictures. Show us a lot of pictures on there. I've got a lot of places where you can put your pictures on there. You can upload your videos and show people. I would love to see it. That's one of the reasons why I created that website. Also, I want to make sure that people that do this as a hobby, not for, even if you're doing it for a living, that's fine, but people like myself that do this for a hobby, I want to have a place where you can come and join like-minded people like yourself, and we just have a lot of fun talking about it and showing different tips and giving tips and showing different techniques as we're putting this car back together. So until next time, my name is James Frampton. Have a good day. As I'm walking around the car and showing you what I've done, I'll give you a little bit more information on where I'm at in the project and where I plan on going next. So stick with me. I'll be back in just a moment. Kiki, hey, be quiet. As you can see, the tail light, I've got this little pointer here. But this was all full of bondage. You can still see